Hey sixth graders. So in this video we're going to review how to put your clarinet together, talk about how to hold like we talked about in our last lesson, and then also introduce the first 3 notes, which we're going to encourage you to practice before next time. So step number 1, we always work from the bottom up. So can you please grab in one hand your bell, the one that looks like a bell, okay? In your next hand, can you grab what we call the lower or the bottom joint? It's the one that has the cork on one side but not the top. This is the lower joint. And we're going to put the cork into the bottom of the bell. Remember, we talked about not like wiggling it side to side. We're gonna go pretty much straight up and down, and as we push, we're gonna put a little bit of a twist, right? Until it goes all the way together. If you're picky like me, I like to have like the brand name facing forward. I'm kind of like that, okay? Now, in your other hand, can you grab the upper joint? And a reminder that this has cork on both sides. There's one side of the lower joint, the upper joint that has 4 keys kind of sticking down. That's going to be the side that goes into the lower joint of the clarinet. You guys can see that? Now, before we put this together, I want you to notice one thing on your clarinet. Can you look on the top joint, and do you see how underneath these 4 little keys, there's a little piece of metal? We're gonna call this the connecting bracket. And if I push on this key right here, it's going to lift it up, okay? Let me show you that again. On the front side of the clarinet, the second hold key, if I push that down, it's going to lift this bracket up. When we put our clarinet together, I want you to push that down so it moves that lever up. Then when we put it together, we're going to push and twist ever so gently until they go together. Mine's a little bit tight. You might want to put a little cork grease on yours, because the goal is that we have this on top of this lower connecting joint. Let me show you that one more time. If I push the key down, it raises up this, so I can put it together and line it up with the lower part like this. That's going to connect our lower joint to our clarinet to our upper joint, and we want it to be totally in line, okay? So it looks like this. All the keys are going to be straight in line with the clarinet. Okay, when your clarinet looks like this, push continue. Okay, we're going to take our case and we're going to set it off to the side. I would recommend you put it on the floor or somewhere on another chair. So once your clarinet looks like this, we're going to put our mouthpiece and ligature and barrel together. We talked about taking the reed part of the clarinet and lining it up with the back of the clarinet that doesn't have very many keys, okay? We're gonna push and twist ever so slightly until it goes all the way to the bottom. When your clarinet looks like this, push continue. Great, okay, so now what we're going to do next is talk about how to hold the clarinet. We're gonna start with our left hand. Can everyone hold with their left hand? When you have your left hand ready, continue. Okay. First thing is we're going to take your thumbs, like a thumbs up. I'm going to move a little bit. Take your thumb, and the thumb pad, this part of your thumb, is going to go on this hole right here. This is called the thumb, to cover the entire hole. We can't have you have like a half hole like this. If any air leaks out of there, your clarinet won't play any notes. So we're going to cover this hole completely. On the front part, you can see there's 1, 2, and 3 holes. That's where your finger goes. Hole number 1 is your index finger. Hole number 2 is your middle finger, and hole number 3 is your ring finger, okay? When you hold your clarinet like this, push continue. Great, okay. On your right hand, everyone take your right hand and give me a thumbs up. Okay, now there on the back of your clarinet, you'll see a little thumb rest, this little piece of metal. Some of you might be covered in like plastic or like a cushy thing right here. It's essentially the same thing. We're going to take your thumb, and with your thumbs up shape, you're going to put your thumb right underneath this thumb rest, right on the corner of your nail where it meets your corner of your thumb, just like this, okay? And for right now, we're just gonna have your fingers just chilling in front. Don't push anything down yet. It's just gonna be holding like this. If you can balance the clarinet with your left hand and your right hand, push continue. Great. Okay, the last thing I have to teach you before we come back together on Friday is the 3 notes. So everyone pull out this yellow sheet of paper. It's in your folder. We are teaching you 3 notes today, okay? The first note looks like this. This back button is your thumb, and then you're going to push your first finger, your second finger, and your third finger. This note is called a C. It's the note that we just had you practice holding. When you can follow this fingering, push continue. Okay? The next note, if you look at your yellow sheet of paper, says that you only have to lift up the bottom button, which is your ring finger. So follow that fingering chart on the yellow, lift up your ring finger, and that's a D. Okay? And the last fingering is an E, and you can see all you have to do is lift up your middle finger, so you're only pushing down your thumb and your first finger to make it look like an E. When you have practiced those 3 notes, push continue. Okay, so let's practice that again. C, D, and E. C, D, and E. Okay, like I said earlier, if any of your fingers have a little bit of gap, your finger pads are not covering the hole completely, the sound will not come out of your clarinet. You might squeak, it might make a weird honking sound. So if that's the case, we want to just double check to make sure your finger pads are covering the clarinet holes completely. The thumb in the back, first finger, second finger, third finger. You might actually have a lot of luck going into your bathroom or finding a mirror and looking in a mirror and seeing if you can see any air escaping, or having another person look at your fingers and say, oh, this third finger, that's leaking air, and that might help solve your problem. Okay, good luck. See if you can practice those 3 notes. There's also a green piece of paper in your folder that has your first couple songs if you want to have a chance to look at those 3 songs before Friday. All right, good luck, clarinet players. Bye.